Hello everyone, Zoe is here with another video and another guest. Today I'm going to interview Reza Mazhari, who is a senior broadcast architect, and he wants to walk you through his responsibilities and what he does. So if you want to know more, watch this video. Hi Reza, how are you? Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Zoe. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So, Reza, to start, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your career journey, please?
Sure. Before I start, Zoe, I really want to take this opportunity to say what a great job you are doing.
Oh, thank
Seriously,
you.
because I remember the days that I was working for the job opportunity in Australia as a newcomer, and seriously, I was struggling to find, proper resources, proper places to find information, and this is great. I mean,
Oh,
it's as good as it gets.
you
So
made
you're
my
doing a
day.
great job. Yeah, well done with that.
Thank you.
So, well, as you mentioned, my name is Reza. I have a Bachelor of Science in Electronics Engineering. Um, I have a master degree by research in signal processing, and I have been in broadcast industry for 25 years now.
Mm-hmm.
In Australia, I've been working for Southern Cross and then SBS Television, and currently I'm working as a senior broadcast architect at Tabcorp. Although the nature of organizations are very different, but the prospects of the job are pretty much similar.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I'm doing the same thing in different industries.
Different industry, that's right. So Reza, to kind of like clear it out a little bit about job responsibilities, I know like if someone is solution architect in data industry, they are responsible for softwares, for tools, and for kind of like risk associated with. But for you guys to be in broadcast industry, what are the responsibilities? What are the job duties?
Yes, that's a good question. So broadcast industry is probably one of the most innovative and one of the fastest moving industries ever, because it is basically related to some businesses that, commercial advertising is a big business, and that's a big part of TV industry. So basically, this industry is growing in every aspect that you can imagine. As a broadcast engineer and broadcast architect, basically you have to keep yourself abreast of new technologies, new sciences, new standards, and things change on a daily basis, basically. So you need to be aware that, okay, this month we are working with this standard, but the next month we might be looking for something completely different.
Mhm.
So these are the challenges, and as the challenges change, obviously the risks and the way you manage and mitigate the risks also change as well.
So can I say it's data related plus compliance related?
Yes. So how it works is, in a legacy broadcast environment, as we had for ever since
Mhm.
the start of broadcast industry in the 1930s, up to the 1990s, that the digital industry came to existence. Everything was pretty much the same. I mean, there was an analog signal. The processings were some very limited processings.
Mhm.
Um, it was a different story to what we have at the moment. Digital world is a completely different thing. So uh, the approach for every broadcaster is to reach as many viewers as possible on any platform. That means people watching on iPads, iTunes, whatever,
That's
people watching on the normal linear TVs, people watching on demands or whatever. So every broadcasters want to provide every content on every platform.
mm,
That brings challenges for um, people like me as architects, because you need to be designing something in a way that it basically complies with a whole range of end-to-end systems.
that,
Basically, we need to stream the same content to your iPad, and then we need to send the same content over the air to your TV, and then to your mobile on different platforms. Uh, yes, compliance with different platforms,
that's right.
and also each platform brings its own standards and risks and whatever. Yes.
Sounds very interesting. So, if someone want to secure this job, which kind of qualification do they need to have?
There is no security. There is no job security at
Really?
all. Yes, there is no job security. But so digital broadcasting is pretty much getting merged and marries with the IP platforms. Basically, these two are becoming one.
Mm-hmm.
So if 10 years ago we had broadcast engineers and then IT and network engineers, these two basically are now working in same teams,
Oh,
because at the moment broadcast industry is moving towards IP. The problem here is, well, the advantage of that is it gives you a whole lot of flexibilities, better routing, and
that's right.
you you before you had to do everything 3 or 4 times for different platforms, whereas now everything is in one place, everything is unified. But then the challenge is broadcast engineers do not know the IP side, the IP engineers do not know the broadcast side. So these two teams need to work together, which is nice, but it also brings its own challenges.
Okay, so if someone is study IT, they are able to secure a job as a broadcast engineer as well. Is that in a way?
Not quite.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so the broadcast industry is moving towards all IP platforms,
Mm-hmm.
but then there are some certain elements in there that they have been and they will always be broadcast related. So when we talk about, for example, a video standard, that is purely related to broadcast. So a
Broadcast.
broadcast engineer will understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is now being streamed on an IP platform, but the base of it is a broadcast sort of signal.
That,
So if I want to give you an example, it is an encapsulation. So you've got something which is broadcast, but it is encapsulated into an IP. So on the outer layer, it is IP industry, inside is broadcast.
that's true. That's
So
true.
basically, at the moment, you need two teams
Mm-hmm.
to work in this industry. It is a niche market, broadcast industry. It is a
It
niche
sounds like
market. So if you've got a sort of established, basically, job in your position, whatever you're doing, it is likely that you can keep it for some time. But um, this industry, as I mentioned, is evolving, is ever evolving.
mm,
So new changes, new devices, new standards are coming every month, every day. So if sometime at some stage you feel that, okay, I've had enough, then at that stage you'll be vulnerable to you know missing on so many things of the industry.
that's true. Exactly right. So getting back to that kind of like title, what's the difference between someone who is a broadcast engineer, someone who is a broadcast architect, or someone who is a broadcast designer? Do they all need to have that broadcast knowledge and IP system knowledge? And if they only know IT, are they able to kind of like secure one of those jobs?
That's a very good question, actually. That's a very good question. So there are two types of technical people working in broadcast industry.
Mm-hmm.
The engineers are the ones that usually go around and make things, maintain and keep things on air, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
you've got a studio running, you've got a whole lot of rack rooms full of equipment, and basically broadcast engineers' responsibility is to keep all of these devices and equipment and the whole services on air and running.
That's right.
Broadcast engineers are basically looking after the services.
Mm-hmm.
They have to keep the availability of the services on air 100%. So that's what the broadcast engineer does. On the other hand, the broadcast architect is basically responsible for designing and architecting, as it comes from the name, the new systems and mechanisms that comply with the requirements of the business,
Okay.
and installing them, putting them together, doing some proof of concept designs. And as you know, always budget is a big hurdle in there. So you have to be within the budgets and then deliver something that addresses business requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Both of these two, broadcast engineers and broadcast architects, I would say they need a good level of knowledge of broadcast industry
Mm-hmm.
and some level of IP, IT sort of, um, you
System.
know-how, I would say.
Mm.
Yes. The third type of the technical people in broadcast industry are basically studio and camera operators. Um, these guys have got the learn as you go basically qualifications.
Mm.
So they are very technical, they are experienced, but the the formal qualification is not essential for their job.
Mhm. Perfect. Fantastic. So going to kind of like a lifestyle of this sort of job that people have, um, how many hours do you guys need to work? Is that a standard like 9 to 5, or do you need to stay on shift sometimes? Like, how is the working hours?
So 95% of the time, it's a normal Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 sort of job in the office. But because broadcast industry, what we call it is uh, any change, any modification basically impacts a whole lot of viewers out in the field.
Mhm.
So, for example, when you are doing adding a simple encoder in there, any risks of malfunctioning is impacting 22 million Australians out there.
That's true.
So basically, what we need to do for this sort of job is they have to be taken at the times that you've got minimum amount of viewers in the network.
Mm.
So 5% of the time you need to go to the station at around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. to just do this sort of configurations. And I wouldn't think that's more than once or twice a month, but it
Yeah,
happens.
it will happen sometimes. Very interesting. And how about wages, Reza? Like, how is earning money in this job?
Well, I would say broadcast engineers are probably they are on the middle range of uh, the engineering payments. If you take the average of the engineering payments, basically, probably broadcast engineers sit on that medium level.
Mhm.
Level.
That's good.
Um, I would say probably it's a bit better for the crew, for those who go to the fields, and for the OB vans, outside broadcast, and that sort of thing. But then the job is a bit harsher because they have to work on in the fields on
Exactly.
yes. So the pay is better, but the work environment
Mm. It's
is a bit
always
tougher.
about work harder, earn more. So,
Correct. Yes. Yes.
yeah. Reza, how about the demand of the job? Like, do you think this job is in demand in Australia at the moment, or how do you see the future of this job in the market?
As I mentioned, the broadcast industry is probably one of the most innovative industries. It is ever evolving, so there is always need for good engineers, good architects. Um, this industry is always introducing new technologies, new standards. So basically, you always need some people to be able to, you know, easily run and deploy these new technologies and um, keep systems on air.
Yeah.
I would say the job prospects of this industry are good,
Mm.
but we have to keep in mind that Australia is a very small market, basically. So in Australia, we've got like two national broadcasters and three commercials and a number of regional broadcasters, and that's it. So
That's true.
basically, it's not a huge market with tens of broadcasters. We are talking about maximum 10, 11 broadcasters in Australia.
Limited options.
Limited options,
Yeah.
correct. Yes. Yeah. But definitely, there is a path to the future for each of these broadcasters, which if they don't follow that path, they will drop. They will vanish. So they have to go, and if they are moving that way, they will need some good architects, engineers, and they will definitely need some fresh blood in their systems. Otherwise,
Okay. So you see
uh,
kind of like a bright future for it.
yes, yes, this industry is actually flourishing. Yes.
That's awesome.
With moving to IP, and how many platforms we've got at the moment that never existed 10 years ago.
That's true.
So each of these new platforms brings more opportunities for developers, for web experts, for broadcast engineers, for IP engineers, more opportunities. But yes, we've got limited number of
Mm.
um, broadcasters in there.
That's true. Awesome. That was so amazing, Reza. Thank you for sharing your information. Is there
Thank
any
you,
other
Zoe.
thing? Thank you. Is there any other thing that you're going to add at the end as a tip or advice for those who are graduating from university and they are looking for the job, or for those who immigrated to Australia and they want to be a broadcast architect or engineer? Like, is there any other tip or advice that you're going to give them?
Sure. Um, this job, Zoe, is a purely technical engineering sort of job. So my advice is for anybody who is looking to join as a workforce in the broadcast industry is, as a general advice that you'll give to anybody in any industry, they have to love what they are doing,
Mm.
because this is a purely um, technical engineering sort of job. If you don't like what you're doing, after some time, probably you reach to the point that you think, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. So that's one thing. The other thing is, as I explained, because of the nature of the industry, that it is a very fast moving and it's very innovative,
Mhm.
you have to be able to keep yourself abreast of the new technology. Otherwise, at some stage you feel that, okay, I I can't get these things anymore. I can't. The blocks do not match fits with each other anymore. So
Exactly right.
these two things probably are the most important advice that I would give to broadcast engineers, and
Mhm.
be innovative.
That's true. So they have to love the job, they have to be innovative and be ready for all challenges that they have to get updated in the
Absolutely,
market, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Reza. That was so great, and I'm sure people are going to enjoy all those useful information that you shared with them.
Thank you, Zoe. That was a pleasure. And like I said, what you're doing is great. Just keep doing this, and I'll definitely recommend watching your channel to all
Oh,
of my friends.
thank you very much. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed watching the conversation. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe me if you want me to produce more video like this for you. Thank you.